Hi guys, welcome back to another beautiful tutorial. I hope you guys are doing well. Today's tutorial shall be the making of an overlapped maxi gown with short collar, and at first we're going to be drafting out the pattern. After that, we're going to be cutting and sewing with the fabric. If you are new to this channel, you are welcome. This is Donlarrie, and here on this channel I upload sewing tutorials, pattern drafting and DIYs. Consider subscribing guys, and also remember to put on your notification bell so that anytime I upload a new video you will be notified. Alright guys, so let's jump straight into the tutorial. So to get started, you're going to be needing your front and back basic bodice. I have a tutorial on the channel that shows how to draft a basic bodice pattern for beginners. So if you're here to watch the tutorial, I'll put the link down in the description box so that you can do that. So this is the back pattern. As you can see, the back pattern already have the dart and doesn't have a zip allowance. So for the gown we are making today, we are not putting the zipper at the back, so you are not going to add any zip allowance to the back. Just draft out your basic back pattern like this and go ahead and add your seam allowance to the neckline, to the shoulder, to the armhole, and then to the waistline, because we're going to be joining this to the maxi skirt. And then you're going to be adding your seam allowance to the side depending on how much allowance you want. So for this pattern I added 1.5 inch seam allowance. So that is the back, and for the back we're going to be cutting out just one piece because we are cutting the back on fold. So remember to indicate that you are cutting the back on fold, and we're going to be cutting out just one piece for the back. This is the front basic bodice. As you can see it, we are from the shoulder line to the waistline. This is the shoulder line, the upper chest line, the bust line, and the waistline. I've created the armhole curve and I've also placed the waist dart. So, and as you can see, this is the center front. So from the center front I left some inches because we're going to be creating the overlapping extension and the neckline, and also to the upper part we're going to be creating the collar, the short collar. So to create the neckline here, you're going to be measuring whatever you have from the center front line to the dart leg, and here I have 4 inches. So that is what I'm going to mark to create the overlapping extension. So from here now I'm going to measure 4 inches like this, and I'm going to extend that line like this, and then now we're going to be creating the neckline. So from here now you're going to draw a line from here down to the extension line that we have here. So once you've done this, the next thing we want to do now is to create the collar. So you're going to be needing your back pattern at this point. So you're going to be measuring whatever you have on the neckline, and remember this is the seam allowance, so you're not measuring from the seam allowance, you are measuring from the actual neckline. So here I have 4.5 inches. So now I'm going to measure 4.5 inches from here upward. So that is 4.5 inches. So 4.5 inches like that, and from there now you mark half an inch like this. Can you see that? And then you're going to be finding the middle point of the 4.5 inches or whatever you measured in your whole case. So here I'll be marking 2 1/4 inch, and then you're going to connect this this mark here, this point to this point. So I'll use the free hand like that. So once you've done that, the next thing you want to do now is to mark the width of the collar. So the width of the collar, I'll be using 3 inches for the collar. So I'm going to mark 3 inches from here now to here. So whatever you mark here, which is 3 inches in my own case, that is what you will mark at the waistline as well for the short collar. So I'll go ahead and mark 3 inches here, and then once you've done that, then you're going to connect this point to this point. So I'll first of all extend this line. So once you've done that, the next thing you want to do now is to extend this outer line. We want to extend it a little bit so that the collar will relax at the back. So to do that, you go up by between 1.5 or 1 3/4 inch, depending on how you want it, but don't make it less than 1.5 inches. So extend the line like this, and then you go up, you extend this line up, and then you're going to join this point back to this point. So this is what the collar will look like at the upper part. So once you've done this, the next thing you want to do now is to go ahead and add your seam allowance around this pattern. So I'll go ahead now and add 1/2 inch seam allowance. Okay guys, so as you can see here, I've cut out the front pattern, I've added the seam allowance to it, and I've cut it out. So for the front pattern, we're going to be cutting the facing for it. So the easiest way to go about that, you can cut it anyhow, the way you know how to do that, but the easiest way for me is just to come to the shoulder slope here and find the middle point. So I'll just find the middle point here, and then from that middle point I will use my ruler to create a crease line. So from that middle point to this dart leg, can you see that? So I'm just going to fold the pattern. So can you see the crease line that we have here? So from here now, from that crease line towards this side, we're going to be cutting the main fabric, or whatever fabric you are using or you want to use for the collar. So that is what you're going to be cutting for this side, and then you're going to be adding your seam allowance to the fabric, and then from here to the other side, to the side seam, you're going to be cutting out the lining. So to the lining as well, you're going to be adding seam allowance to it, because remember that we're going to be joining the facing and the lining together. So now that we've completed drafting the front and the back pattern for the upper part of our dress, so I'll go ahead and cut on the fabric, and then we're going to be cutting the maxi skirt as well. Okay guys, so I've cut it out on the fabric exactly what we have on the pattern. This is the back, so I cut out just one piece for the back, and I cut on fold, and also for the lining just one piece, and you cut on fold. So this is the front, and for the front you will have 2 pieces, and then this is the facing for the front. So I cut out the same fabric, and I also cut out 2 facing, and also for the lining you will also cut out 2 lining, and make sure that you add seam allowance to this side, because you're going to be joining the lining and the facing together. So that is that for both the front and the back. And then we're going to be using just the basic sleeve for this pattern. I have a tutorial on the channel on how you can draft a basic sleeve pattern. I will put the link down in the description box. So this is just a basic sleeve based on the measurement that I'm working with, and I cut out 2 pieces for the sleeve. So now to the skirt part of our dress. So I've cut out the skirt part. I will just explain to you what you will need to do. So you're going to take your measurement from your shoulder point down to the floor, or depending on the length you want. So once you've done that, then you're going to be taking the weight. Remember that we've cut out the bodice. So whatever the length of the bodice that you've cut out, you're going to be taking it away from your total gown length. So for instance, the gown I'm working with now is 62 inches. So taking away 17 inches for the half length, taking it away from the total gown length, I have 45 inches. So, and I just cut out the total length of the fabric that I'm using. The African print fabric is 45 inches or 46 inches sometimes, and then that is for the length of the skirt. So, and then for the width of the skirt, you're going to be needing the waist measurement for that. So your waist measurement, you're going to be multiplying that by 2.5, or depending on the fullness that you want. If you don't want it full, just multiply your waist measurement by 2. If you want it moderately, multiply your waist measurement by 2.5, and if you want it fuller, you can go beyond 2.5. So now that we've cut everything that we need out, so let's quickly assemble this, and then we move on to joining it together. So now we want to assemble the fabric, and then this is the facing. So we're going to be joining the facing and the lining together, and you can add an interfacing to the facing if you like to give it a little bit of structure. But the fabric that I'm using is wax print fabric, so I don't want to add any interfacing. So if you want to add interfacing to it, just cut out exactly what you have on the facing like this, and then you iron it to it before you join it to the lining. So now we're going to be joining these two together. So you go to your sewing machine and then you join the two together. So you can first of all join the two together before sewing the dart. So depending on how you know how to do that, so just go to the sewing machine, then you're going to join the lining and the facing together, and then you sew the dart. And then also on the front, so on the front you're going to be, first of all you will need to sew the dart. So mark your dart, transfer the dart into the fabric, and then you sew it, and then you do the same thing to the back. So to the back you're going to be sewing the dart separately on the main fabric and the dart separately on the lining. So that is all we need to do for now. Okay guys, so I've sewn the dart just like I explained earlier. So this is the front, so this is the second piece of the front. So can you see that? So this is the dart here and here. And then for the lining and the facing for the front, so this is what you will have once you've joined the lining together with the facing. And also I've sewn the dart for the back and for the lining for the back. So the next thing we want to do now is to join the lining and the main fabric together. That is for the front. So you're going to place the right side of the lining and the right side of the fabric together, and then whatever you do to this side, that is what you will do to the other side. So place the right side together, and then you go to your sewing machine, and then you're going to stitch from the waistline through to the upper part. So that is the first thing we're going to be doing to the front. Okay guys, so as you can see here, I've joined the lining and the main fabric, that is for the front. I've joined it together, and this is what it looks like. So the next thing you want to do now is to join the two together at the collar area. So you're going to open it up like so. Open this one, place the right side facing each other like this, and then you're going to stitch from this side through to this side. That is what you're going to be doing for the front. Okay guys, so as you can see, I've joined the front together at the neckline, and this is what we have. So the next thing we want to do now is to take the back. So make sure you fold the back into two, and then you notch it at the center back around the neckline, and then you place the right side facing each other like this. So then at the collar area, remember we have the stitch line, so make sure the stitch line align with the part that you notch, the center back that you notch on the back, and then you place the two together and pin it down. So you're going to pin it down all through the neckline and the collar. You pin it together like this, and then you're going to also pin the shoulder line, the shoulder slope. You're going to be, this part is a little bit tricky, but just take your time. You can place a notch at the front around here. You can place a little notch like this. Can you see that? So and then you pin down the shoulder slope together as well. So this is what you will do. You pin it down, then you do the same thing to the other side. Like this, then you pin it down like this. So now we've pinned the neckline and the shoulder slope together. So you can go ahead now to the sewing machine and stitch. You stitch it following the shape that you have. All right guys, so I've joined the back together exactly the way I pinned it down earlier, and this is what the wrong side looks like. Can you see that? So this is what the right side looks like. So this is the shoulder slope, this is the neckline. Right. So now that you've done this, the next thing we want to do is to join the lining, the back lining. So not to get confused, you can place the lining on the back, wrong side facing each other. Can you see that? So this is the right side of the lining, because after sewing it, this is what you want the back to look like. So then you can now flip it over. So flip it over like this, and you pin down exactly the same way we did for the when we were pinning the back to the front. So you pin the neckline together and then the shoulder, and then you're going to sew it the same way. Okay guys, so once you've joined the lining, this is what it will look like. Can you see that? So this is what it looks like. So now the next thing we want to do is to join it together at the side. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to join it together at the side. So all you need to do is just to turn everything to the wrong side. So you can see the lining here, and then you place the two together, and then now you're going to be inputting your measurement, and we're going to be closing one side. We're going to be closing just part of the other side. Remember that because of the collar, we didn't add any zip to the back, so we're going to be adding zipper to the side. So now we're going to be closing one side depending on the side you want the zipper to be. So just go ahead and input your measurements, and one side we're going to be closing it completely, and the other side you're going to be measuring just like 2 or 3 inches, because remember we're going to be adding sleeve to this dress, so you will need to close it about 2 or 3 inches from the armhole. So maybe like 3 inches. So you close that, and then the other part like this, you're going to be leaving it open. Okay guys, so as you can see it, I've joined it together at the side. So once you've done that, then you're going to be joining the front pieces together as well. So just make sure that you fold. So this is the collar, so make sure you fold the collar the way you want it, and then you're going to top stitch. So you join the two together at the front, so just like I've done here. Can you see that? So once you've done that, then you can go ahead and attach the skirt. So for the skirt, depending on what you want, so you can go ahead and gather it. So I've just gathered this one, as you can see it. So gather it, and then you measure whatever you gather. Make sure it is the same with the waistline that you are working with. And also if you want to pleat it, you can pleat it. You can do whatever you want. You can use any type of pleat that you want for this dress. And another thing is that if you want your own to have pocket at the side, what you're going to do is that before you gather the skirt, you're going to fold the fabric, whatever you cut out for the skirt, you will fold it into 2, and then you cut it into 2, so you have 2 equal pieces, and then you will have to gather it separately. So you're going to gather it separately. You join one to the front, you join one to the back, and then you insert the pockets to the side. I have a tutorial on the channel. I will link it down below. If you want to add pocket to your own, in the tutorial you will learn how you can cut the pocket and how you can attach the pocket to the side of the dress. I will link that video down in the description box. I'm not going to be adding pocket to this one. So what you're going to do now is that I will just go ahead and join this together. So I will join it from one side, this skirt that I've gathered, so you can see it. So I will place it on it, and I will join it from one side, from here through to the other side. Okay guys, so I've joined it around, I've joined the skirt around the bodice, as you can see it. So this is the back. And then once you've done that, then remember you're going to be attaching the zip to the side. So you're going to be leaving some opening, just like I've done here. So on the skirt, so you can measure like maybe 10 inches from the waistline, that is on the skirt, down like this. So I have 11.5 inches here, and then from that 10 or 11.5 inches or whatever, depending on the space you want to leave, and then you're going to stitch down from this side down to the hemline of the skirt, and then this is the opening that you will have. So, and this is where you're going to be attaching the zipper to. So just go ahead and attach the zip as if you're attaching it to the back. As simple as that. So once you are done attaching the zip, then you're going to be fixing the sleeve. So then you go ahead and finish up the hemline, and if you would like to add belt to your own, you can go ahead and add the belt. You can also add press button to this side just to secure it. So you can add press button to this side. And then we are done with our overlap maxi dress with shawl collar. I hope you guys find this tutorial helpful. If yes, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share this video with your friends and family, and kindly subscribe to this channel for more videos. And don't forget to leave your feedback in the comment section. Till I see you guys in my next tutorial, do have a wonderful day. Bye.